Hey guys, Ben here from Wrestling Life. Now, over the weekend, I went to the cinema to see The Smashing Machine on the big screen. Obviously, us wrestling fans have heard so much about this film this year. The Rock's big bid for the Oscars, his transformation into former UFC fighter Mark Kerr. We'd all seen the trailer. We'd seen his transformation through prosthetics into the fighter. We've seen the weight loss and the shocking weight loss, as it was touted around on the internet, of how much muscle mass The Rock had allegedly lost during this time of transforming into this role. So I wanted to see what all the fuss was about and whether it actually lived up to the hype. Now, at the time I record this, literally everything I'm seeing online about The Smashing Machine is what a box office flop this has been. So the film had a $50 million budget, and over opening weekend, crucial opening weekend, it came in with a $6 million is what it recouped in revenue as an R-rated sports drama. It's been talked about a lot about how that is a failure, with Taylor Swift's new film being the hit at the moment. And obviously everyone's comparing it to his last release. They're looking at the Fast and the Furious franchise and everything he's done in the last few years. The problem with that is that The Smashing Machine is an art house movie. This is not a film which is really designed for a mass audience. I don't think the expectation was ever that this would be a huge box office smash. I'd be surprised if that was the expectation from A24. So I'm not surprised that it's drawn $6 million. I am surprised that more of the kind of die-hard rock fans haven't come out to support this project. But I, for one, really, really enjoyed it. I went in kind of thinking, I'm not really sure if this is going to be for me. I don't really follow MMA. I don't know Mark Kerr's story particularly. I've seen interviews, but I don't know much about him or his life. And also, crucially, could I really see The Rock personify someone else? And that's a key point, because you kind of can and you can't watching The Smashing Machine. There were times when Dwayne Johnson completely embodied Mark Kerr, I found, and certainly some of the distance shots and some of the fighting shots. I had suspension of disbelief for a bit that I was watching The Rock. There are other times when it's so clearly The Rock that it's really, really hard to suspend your disbelief and forget that you're not supposed to be watching Dwayne Johnson, but you're watching Mark Kerr. That being said, this is by far The Rock's biggest stretch as an actor. We see a lot of vulnerability at various scenes in this film. There's real depth to the range. I personally thought this was a really, really great film. I enjoyed it massively for what it was. Emily Blunt's performance was phenomenal. The Rock's performance was great for what it is. And I would genuinely, despite what the headlines are saying, I would encourage you to go out of your way to see it if you can see it on a big screen, because there's nothing quite like that total immersion that comes with a huge big screen, switching your phone off and watching good action films as they're intended. So I would absolutely recommend The Smashing Machine, despite what the audiences are saying here with the box office flop, as it were. Look past that. If you can go and see it, hopefully more wrestling fans will get behind it. There's lots of talk that this could be tipped for an Oscar. Obviously, if it does become an Academy Award nominee, that is going to massively change its kind of long-tail trajectory of success. I mean, I was looking for comparison at how the wrestler performed, because I adore the wrestler. I recently had Ernest Miller on the show, Ernest the Ayatollah and the wrestler opposite Mickey Rourke, and that had a domestic opening weekend gross of $202,000 in 2008 and ended up grossing $44 million worldwide. So it's just really interesting to see. I would say that's the most comparable film that I've seen to The Smashing Machine in terms of its tonality. The Smashing Machine isn't quite as bleak. There's definitely some bleak periods, but it's actually a surprisingly uplifting film. Really great stuff there about kind of overcoming difficult times, about personal resilience. Mark Kerr comes across very, very well by and large as someone who had his troubles but who overcame them. I came away with a lot of sympathy for his character and wanting to know more about the real Mark Kerr. So again, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm interested to see what happens next for The Rock. I mean, obviously he's got Moana coming up, the live action version. That's going to be huge. There's going to be a lot more of those big box office films for him. But I really, really hope that this the failure of this film thus far doesn't deter Dwayne Johnson from pursuing more passion projects like this. I mean, we saw over particularly the lead up to WrestleMania 40 just what Dwayne Johnson is capable of doing when he is passionate about something. And I know for us wrestling fans in the last couple of years, and especially here in 2025 with The Rock's stop-start involvement in WWE storylines, we're maybe a little bit irked by Dwayne Johnson and his involvement with the business right now. But as a performer, I really, really want to see him do more. I want to see him push beyond his comfort zone now, because obviously the Smashing Machine is still within the world of fighting. It is still within a world that's quite comfortable to him. So I want to see what he can do beyond this. I was reflecting being in the cinema that I've now followed his careers on a big screen for 25 years. It was 2000 or 2001 that I was there watching The Scorpion King in the cinema. And I was just, that in and of itself, you know, the longevity that this former wrestler has had in Hollywood is just absolutely incredible. So again, my verdict, I loved The Smashing Machine. Flop or not by metrics, I think it's a critical success. It's a great film. Go out of your way to watch it, and I would love, if you have seen it, I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave a note in the comments, let me know, and come back more to this channel soon for more interviews and insight here on Wrestling Life. See you soon. Bye.